everyone, this is the third video on the speech Come September by Arundhati Roy. In this video, we'll talk about the relevance of September not only for America but for the whole world. According to Arundhati Roy, September is a month of dreadful anniversaries. When the whole world thinks about the month of September, the very first event that comes to our mind is obviously 9/11. This was the deadliest attack in the history of America, with almost 3,000 civilians losing their lives and thousands of people getting injured. Of course, we as humanity need to grieve this terrorist attack. We as human beings need to sympathize with those innocent fellow human beings who lost their lives for no crime of their own. Of course, we should realize and understand the terror in the eyes of the dead as well as the injured people who out of the blue one day, one moment got their life shaken and shattered into pieces. We should see how things got changed for these innocent people in a day. The grief, the rage is still there, very much alive. Grief for the victims and rage against the perpetrators. The tears of the beloved ones have not dried up, and we cannot hope that one day the tears would dry out. Each and every one who has lost the beloved ones knows the importance of loss, importance of pain. Deep within them, as human beings, they as well as we people realize that no war, no attack would bring back their loved ones. Still, war is on. Someone else's loved ones are killed for no crime of their own. It's a sort of an act of revenge. The murderers are so very distanced from the murdered. More than that, the American media, which is the most unfree of all the media across the world, is becoming a sort of a mouthpiece of the American government, which actually tries to manipulate people's grief. It celebrates grief. It spices it up with advertisements and special sponsored programs, which according to Arundhati Roy is a very cheap and dirty business, exhibiting and displaying people's grief, where human beings are getting commercialized, used for political purpose. This is too horrible to listen to, because it's none other than the authority who is doing all these kinds of cheap, dirty business. Now Arundhati Roy switches to talk about loss, about grief, about failure, brokenness, numbness, uncertainty, fear, death of feeling, death of dreaming. What does it mean to live a life with all these things as your constant companion? What does it mean to live each and every moment of your life with fear? What does it mean to live a life when you're very much sure that safety is a myth? This September, or any September for that matter, does not belong to America alone. It belongs to the whole world. For America, according to Arundhati Roy, it's just an entry to the rest of the world. America has always distanced itself from the rest of the world and had always had an aura of safety around it, which the rest of the world lacked. America was always behind the mastermind of each and every attack that was going on across the world, across the globe, that it did not ever think about, ever bother about its own safety. Now Arundhati Roy, in this particular speech, in the most in the gentlest form possible, welcomes American citizens to the rest of the world. Now what about the rest of the world? What is the connection between September and the rest of the world? Let's have a look at it. The first instance that Arundhati Roy talks about is September 11, 1973, Chile. It was on this very day, September 11, 1973, that General Pinochet overthrew the democratically elected government of Salvador Allende in a United States Central Intelligence Agency CIA supported coup. Allende was the first Marxist to be elected in a liberal democracy in Latin America. It was in 1970 that he won the presidency as the candidate of Popular Unity Coalition. As a president, what did Allende do? Allende sought to nationalize major industries, expand education, and improve the living standards of the working class. He clashed with the right-wing parties and with judiciary as well. After the coup, after the CIA coup, President Allende was found dead inside the presidential palace. Whether he killed himself or somebody else killed him, we do not know. That would remain mysterious throughout time. But after General Pinochet took the military reign, the whole of Chile was filled with terror. Thousands of people got killed. Disappearances, sudden arrests, torture, etc. became the order of the time. Arundhati Roy narrates the life of how the Chilean musician Victor Jara's hands were cut off in front of a crowd, and before he was going to be killed, his guitar was thrown at him and he was ordered to play, which is the utmost insult that you can do to a musician. The military suspended the constitution and persecuted the dissidents. Firing squads conducted public executions. Concentration camps and torture camps were opened across the country. No proper burial was given to the dead. The graves were unmarked and therefore no proper burial grounds were there. Up until 1990, for almost 17 years, the people of Chile were living in terror, in fear, insecurity, brokenness, numbness. It was in 1999 that many secret documents were unearthed which clearly documented the US involvement in the coup and killings. Living under dictatorship without any freedom to voice oneself, to live freely, is something which people in a democratic country would seldom understand. People in Chile for almost 17 years, they were living a death in life condition. Roy points out that it's not Chile alone which has turned to be the victim of US unleashing its power against the South America. Most of the countries in South America like Guatemala, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Brazil, Peru, Honduras, Mexico, Colombia, etc., to name a few that Roy has mentioned, all these countries had always been playgrounds for CIA operations, both covert and overt. Now, these are Latin American countries. We didn't talk about Asian or African countries where you have, of course, September's and August all having just one meaning: torture, war, bombings, death, devastation. Arundhati Roy for a moment switches her attention to 1945 August, when thousands of ordinary innocent Japanese mob were moped off their ground by nuclear strikes. How many Augusts and how many Septembers have passed since the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki had endured this heinous crime against humanity? How many Augusts and Septembers are they living right now in hell with unborn children, with their earth, the water, the sky, all the creatures, the wind, everything getting polluted and disabled? The fat man and the little boy which destroyed the lives of Japanese people are now available as earrings which funky youth wear, massacre dangling in each ear. Now the second instance that Arundhati Roy talks about September is September 11, 1922, the British Mandate in Palestine in 1922. It was the Balfour Declaration of 1917 which sowed the seeds of conflict in Palestine by promising the European Zionists a national home for Jewish people in Palestine. The Britain allowed Jews to migrate to Israel-Palestine, which resulted in the rifts between the people there. The British Mandate in Palestine did not consider the people living in Palestine. Britain was just following the Balfour Declaration, which provided a homeland for the Jews all across the world in Palestine. The mandate did not give the Arabs in Palestine political rights. The imperial power of Britain carelessly created rifts inside the nation through this Balfour Declaration and the mandate which resulted in Israel-Palestine conflict. Roy quotes the words of Winston Churchill, who who did not consider Palestinians as human beings. The language of the heads of the state of Palestine, of Israel-Palestine, the prime ministers in Israel, they did not feel that Palestinians existed. Golda Meir said Palestinians did not exist. Levi Eshol was wondering what Palestinians were. Begin called Palestinians two-legged beasts. Shamir called them grasshoppers who could be crushed any moment. In 1947, the UN formally divided Palestine and Israel, giving 55% of the land to Israel. But later on, Israel captured 76% plus the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. And the state of Israel was very much recognized by the UN. Now Palestine exists only in the minds of thousands and thousands of people, of Palestinians who had become refugees in their own land. Now what was the result of all these? Bloodshed, wars. Palestinians live in inhuman conditions, subjected to punishments, 24-hour curfew. Palestinians too are living without knowing when their houses would get demolished, when their children would get shot, when their roads would be closed. They have no control over their own land, their water, communication facilities, power. Their movements are stopped. Palestinians turn their anger into becoming suicide bombers, blowing themselves up, killing people. Suicide being an act of individual despair, not of revolutionary tactic. Now what did the US do? Israel's most powerful ally is the US. And US has blocked all the resolutions which sought a peaceful solution. US even helps Israel with weapons to blow up Palestinian homes. Every year, Israel receives millions and billions of dollars from America. Roy says that sometimes extreme suffering might kindle violence. Jews who had suffered the worst cruelty in history are doing the same with their own fellow human beings, which makes this event more worse. Now the next instance Arundhati Roy talks of is September 11, 1990. It was on this very day that the then President of US, George W. Bush, announces his war against Iraq. Saddam Hussein, who had done all the genocides against his own people, used chemical weapons and machine guns to wipe out Kurdish people, All the mastermind behind all these killings were none other than the US and the UK. We do have ample documents explaining the financial support provided by the US and the materials the US provided to Saddam Hussein for making chemical and biological weapons which were used to destroy the people in Iraq. It was just because Saddam Hussein acted independently by invading Kuwait that the US became angry at Saddam Hussein, because it was done without the orders from the masters. That provoked them, and all of a sudden they decided that Saddam Hussein be exterminated. US waged war against Iraq in 1991. Like every war and attack, thousands and thousands of innocent, ordinary people got killed in the bombings. Over the last decade, US and the British forces have fired thousands and thousands of missiles and bombs on Iraq, leaving the Iraqi civilians bereft of their own livelihood, freedom, food, life, medicine, each and every basic essentials. Dredging out the history is a way of sharing the grief of history, to make things black and white, to reduce the confusion. Throughout these instances, Arundhati Roy is reminding us that September 11 is something which concerns the rest of the world as well. It's like inviting America to share what the world goes through each and every moment. Now, this is what has happened and what is happening across the globe. Arundhati Roy welcomes America to the world because September is not America's alone. It's of the whole world. We'll discuss the rest of the speech in the coming video. Thank you.